This isn't my day either.
This episode of Tales from the Video Store is brought to you by Golden Ticket Cinemas. $5 movies all day on Tuesday. And the Mad Tea Party. Production uniquely. That is all. Please subscribe to our podcast and write us a review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Donate to our Patreon page. The link will be in the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Doug Wall, Lee Bridges, and Garrick Lane. This is Tales from the Video Store.
DeathStalker.
Doug, if you have the amulet and the sword and you get laid 14 times,
then
you, too, can be a barbarian.
yeah, like that Jamie Lannister looking dude is what I thought when I was watching it. I was like, that's like B-grade fucking Lannister, just walking around smiling like one-liners getting laid. I was like, what the fuck is this?
This is not my day either.
Oh, God.
Welcome to number 53, Tales from the Video Store. And we are in the Sword and Sorcery. Real quick, I'll disclaim, we had talked about doing
Sci-fi cops.
Sci-fi Cops. However, right when we got off the air, Lee realized that...
I didn't have any way for you guys to watch the movie for this week. I was like, oh shit, I should have brought that with me if we were going to do that.
Yeah.
And so we had to... We went and, you know, what we're going to do next month, we did this month. We just switched them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
so...
we just switched them up. So anybody looking forward to Sci-Fi Cops...
Come back in December.
Yeah, come back in December. Otherwise, you're going to be into 3 to 4 weeks of Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah.
Titties, fur,
Titties and swords, man.
yeah, titties
With
and
some magic sprinkled in.
yeah, a couple of fake masks.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, all masks are fake masks.
Except for this one.
And speaking of the Sword and Sorcery, we'll get right into it. This week's movie was... That was my impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's wrestling with the other guys.
I thought you were having a stroke.
They're one and the same.
One of the same, exactly. Yeah, we're doing Conan the Barbarian from 1982.
Woo!
Yep. And directed by John Milius, written by John Milius and Oliver Stone. Premium cocaine addict Oliver Stone.
Oh, this was when he was... Yeah. He was sleeping about 1 hour a night.
He was just trying... Yeah, exactly. Just like, giant snake? Sure.
But that being said,
Orgy?
this is...
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the quintessential. This is the nectar.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, of this style of movie.
I'm going to be honest with you. To me, this is the best fantasy movie ever. All you Hobbits and Harry Potters and shit. You know, that's not...
Yeah.
You know,
I'm with you on that.
When I watched it, I don't remember if I watched it earlier this year or the end of last year.
Right.
You know, it was just something that I watched. We were doing something. I was like, man, I need to come back to reality. And I watched Conan, man, and it had been some time. And it still just...
Yeah.
It did everything for me that it did for me the first time I watched it. And it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. It really is.
Like, it's just fucking perfect.
Yeah.
It's a perfect fantasy movie.
It really is.
And the comic books are fantastic.
Comic books are
Robert
great.
Howard's comic
Do you know
books
that-
are freaking... I have like 3 of the omnibuses, and they're fantastic.
You know, he is back in the Marvel... I mean, not only movie, I mean comic universe. Like, Conan is in the Avengers now.
Really?
Yes. Like, he is now they have the rights back to the character.
Right.
And I haven't read a new comic book in years. This just... But there was an issue, I saw somebody posted online that Wolverine gets knocked unconscious. He grabs him by his ankles and is swinging him around like a baseball net. And I was like, damn, that's what we need to see in a movie. Like all this Thanos shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to the movie. I love it. I do. This is, a lot of times on the show we talk. I'll bring in an obscure movie and we talk about that. 70% of us hate it and I love it, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But this fucking.
What happened?
I don't know. I heard something outside.
I thought somebody was coming in.
Somebody here.
Oh, we had an extra guest coming in, but no, maybe not. Go ahead.
Okay, anyway. But yeah, like to me it's that early 80s, like fantasy movie. This is like Doug said, it doesn't get any better than this. To me, it's my favorite fantasy movie.
I can't think of one I like more.
Right.
There's some that look better. They have like
but they don't feel better.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Right. It just like everything about it just fits together perfectly.
And Arnold, he has what 15 words in the movie or something to that effect.
Exactly.
It's not very much.
Nope.
But he's still fantastic.
But Conan doesn't need to talk a lot.
No.
He does. I mean, he's
he lets his sword and his cock and the rest of it do the talking for him. He doesn't need many words.
When they were making a plan in the movie, like they talked maybe Charles Bronson, but maybe Bronson was too old. Maybe this guy, maybe that guy. They couldn't find anybody. And when Milius brought Arnold to Dino De Laurentiis, Dino was like, nobody can understand what the fuck he's saying. And Milius said, if we didn't have him, we'd have to build him.
Yeah.
Like he is Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And really, like, you can talk about Arnold being a bad actor. Like, he has to have a thick accent and all this stuff. And a lot of that's true. But
especially back then. That's
right.
This was.
But it worked. It worked for this.
But it works for this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It doesn't. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
He can be a lug. You know what I mean?
Like, he was like a slave kid. I mean, let's not pretend he was educated.
No,
you know what I mean? I mean, he was built from what he knew as.
And the Wheel of Pain scene is one of the best character introduction scenes ever.
Yep.
Like, it starts out with like 20 kids, and there's 10 kids,
and there's
8,
one.
Then there's fucking 20 years later. And what does that thing do? Does it grind wheat? Does it grind grain?
Nobody knows.
Or is it just a big evil thing in the middle of the field to torture children with?
I think it's a children's
so anyway,
for sure.
But like the movie starts with a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher, which the famous quote, "Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger," and that is the philosophy of this movie.
Yep.
And Arnold, he was 8 years old. He was strapped to this giant spinning
rock wheel,
and he pushed it for 20 years. And 20 years later, he was the one left.
Yeah. And he looks like he's pushed that
does
for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a massive human being.
And that's the thing. He had to lose weight. Like he had to lose muscle.
Yeah.
Because he was still bodybuilder Arnold.
Yeah.
Then, and they were like, you can't really swing a sword with arms that big. Yeah. Like so, he had to stay in shape but be
trimmed down
and be agile.
You know that the father's sword alone was 6.5 pounds.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
So he had 6. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but think about that. Take after take, swinging that 6 pounds.
That's almost 7 pounds of steel.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, Gary said, it doesn't sound like, but it is. It really. Once you swing it around, it's.
James Brown just keeps coming. You know how to silence your fucking phone, man? $20 million budget, shot Spain and Arizona.
Yep. And that was when Spain, you could, you got help. Like, that was back in the day when you shot in a foreign country, the government helped you out.
Yeah.
Like they would send soldiers to be in the crowd scenes and stuff, because they were being bribed.
Right.
The good old days.
Yeah. The good old days, as it were.
Yeah, and but the guy who plays Conan's dad, William Smith, he was actually a bodybuilder in the 60s and 70s. He was like Arnold's hero. Mm-hmm. And he was in he did a lot of biker movies and stuff in the late 60s, early 70s. And that's why Arnold asked for him to be his dad, because he viewed him as his dad as far as his career. He wanted to be William Smith when he was a kid.
Right.
And the cast is great. Any movie that opens with a man being eaten by armored Rottweilers is a good movie.
Yeah.
James
Earl Jones.
Oh yeah. Great.
Just
That's
it's his. I love the look of
his.
That long black hair.
Mm-hmm.
He just has
the blue eyes,
soulless face.
Yep.
Man, I love that opening scene where he comes.
I don't think Thulsa Doom gets much credit as being a great movie villain as he should be. He's fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah. And isn't in it as much as I remember.
No, but he's not in it, but he's throughout it.
Right.
When he's not in it, people are talking about it.
Right.
And he runs a cannibal sex cult and turns into a giant snake. And if you don't like that, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why you listen to this
I would
podcast.
be.
I can't help it.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be all right turning into a snake and having lots of women having an orgy around me. That'd be great, wouldn't it? I mean, that'd be the life.
So you're pro Thulsa Doom.
I am pro Thulsa Doom.
Yeah.
I am, man.
Yeah.
Thulsa Doom for president.
Good villain.
Yeah.
Grab her by the pussy, Thulsa.
Yeah.
That was.
And
I'm pretty sure he had that tattooed on one of his biceps.
Exactly. I mean, shit, he can't be any worse.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
And he is a successful leader. You know.
That's true.
I'm just saying. He's got leadership experience. Anyway, but yeah, like it's a simple story. It's basically it's a revenge movie.
Yeah.
You know, not that dissimilar from the spaghetti westerns we watched a couple months ago, and you know, shot in the same places where they were shot, which is probably why. But yeah, guy, you know, Conan. If you never, everybody's heard of the character, even if they haven't seen
But you
the
might not know
right.
kind of
His,
the backstory.
his village is slaughtered at the beginning by Thulsa Doom. He's this sorcerer. And he basically spends 20 years trying to find him. When he does, Thulsa Doom realizes he done fucked up because he's like, yeah, the one guy he let live it turns out to be the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but the cast is great. I mean, you know, just like the Thulsa Doom's heavies. Sven, I can't remember the guy's name. Sven. He was like Arnold's best friend, bodybuilder. He's in all, like he's in the Running Man. And, he gets killed by Arnold and Predator. He's just a giant, like he's like the snake handler guy. And I can't remember the guy's name. He played for the Raiders in the 70s. But he's the big tall guy with the handlebar mustache who takes Conan's dad's sword. The really like the 7 foot tall guy.
Yeah.
Like they said that dude was 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like when they were fighting, like the stunt guys were like, "Oh fuck, I gotta fight that dude," because he said he was an Oakland Raider, and he was just like
He was going.
He was going for
You
it.
talking about Franco Columbo?
No, Franco Columbo was let me think. See here, is it Ben Davidson?
It may have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ben Davidson.
I think he played for the Raiders, and just they were just like that dude. He went like there was no like rehearsal. If you were sword fighting, he was going to fight you to the death.
Yeah.
And people were just like, "Fuck this guy," you know. But that's the kind of guy you need in a movie like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he has one of my favorite moments in the movie is when
Look, he's got a catfish.
yeah,
He's got a rapey
he
catfish.
does.
Yeah.
And is when Conan breaks in with the snake camouflage, and he sees Ben Davidson's character, and he just looks at him as you because he remembers.
He knows.
He remembers who he is. Yeah, like that. Like the movie has tons of moments like that. Like the greatest crucifixion scene ever in a movie not about Jesus. You know,
Yeah.
greatest secular crucifixion.
Yeah.
I guess would be the best way to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the opposite of Jesus' crucifixion. He died. Jesus died so other people could live. Conan lived so he could kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, he eats the
Oh.
vulture.
Yeah. Yeah, he's almost dead than a vulture, and then he eats it and drinks its blood and survives.
That brings him back.
That brings him back. Yeah.
And then it's almost like kind of a gladiator kind of style movie where he's like a warrior and he fights, you know, for these crowds, just a variety of these badass looking dudes with crazy armor and weapons and all this, and he bloodily fucking wrecks everybody.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he gets a little rapey.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. These movies,
Yeah.
and this one being what I would consider to be the apex.
Right.
They need a little bit of raping.
These are
Apparently.
But Barbarians were like that. It was
right.
kind
Well,
of,
they're barbarian movies.
there wasn't.
Right.
They're very unsophisticated.
They're warriors. They're
Right.
fighters.
White
and,
men make baby.
And they just, you know, they see something they want. They go after it.
Right.
Pussy included.
Right.
Right.
That's
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
And this is one of the
What
least.
are you gonna do? I'm gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. And the thing that this movie is be different is once this movie has a female barbarian, which is why I guess separate this movie from other movies like ones that were made by Roger Corman.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to talk about this one. Which there is a little bit of that when he's a gladiator, but he's more of an animal in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't... I don't think he knows really what's going on. Yeah, because all he does, he spent his entire life pushing a giant stone wheel, and then after that, years of just killing people for sport.
Yeah.
He's not, like... It isn't later till he's set free where he becomes, like, Conan, the character. Yeah, but it's not like... I mean, it's not like there's a lot... If people haven't seen it, there's like 30 seconds of one uncomfortable sex scene in Conan. But it does give you that. He lives in that type of world.
Yeah.
A primitive, ancient world.
And a lot of these movies are set in a very similar world.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're gonna get to that.
We will
for sure.
Yeah. Robert E. Howard, the guy who created the novels, dude from Austin, Texas, who could maybe graduated high school, but somehow created this entire...
The comic books are the same way.
Yeah.
The comic books
Yeah.
have the sex, and they have they got the shot of the brains, just the club going through the dude's head.
Oh yeah,
it's vicious.
Yeah.
I don't have it here, unfortunately, but I have some of the Conan omnibuses, and man.
Yeah. The Roy Thomas ones, the ones written by Roy Thomas in the 70s, are really good. That's what the second movie is more based on. If you want a fuller picture of what the comics were like, it's Conan the Destroyer is more like the Marvel comics from the 70s.
Which is a much lesser... It is quite a bit of a lesser movie to me, even though it has, I would guess, a much higher production...
Oh, yeah.
Value, but to me, the movies are not even similar.
The second one is more for kids.
It's like a kiddie movie. It was like one of my favorites when I was 11.
Yeah.
Conan, I was like, man, am I supposed to be watching this?
Exactly.
Like, he's so badass.
I saw the orgy, and I'm like looking around waiting for my dad to come in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be watching this, but it is awesome. I can't stop.
Okay, question. What is the woman when he first gets free that he has sex with?
The witch.
Is she a witch?
I don't know. She turns,
Or she's a witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking in
Yeah.
She says something about... I thought that they made a comment about it, but maybe not.
Maybe she's a demon or whatever.
Maybe she was just speaking in tongues because Schwarzenegger's 18-foot anaconda was like in her lungs and brains.
Perhaps.
Yeah. It could have just...
But then she turned into a fireball and flew out of the house.
Yeah. Out of the tent.
Out of the tent or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That changed.
Yeah.
That changed my theory of the long dick.
The long dick theory's been shot down, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, this movie is, like I said, it's my favorite. I mean, obviously I'm biased because it's my favorite fantasy movie, but the action is great.
It's great all the way around.
The set design is literally everything.
Everything in it is exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, everything looks like it would work.
It doesn't need to ever be fucking remade or touched or...
It did, but it got remade with Jason Momoa.
Right. Yeah, I tell you where that
I
movie...
hear that, but I've never...
No one's seen this movie.
I'm not ever going to watch it.
No.
Because it's going to be a letdown.
I tell you where they went wrong, just from the poster. He's clean shaven in the movie.
Is
He looks like he's 12 without a beard.
Yeah.
But with a beard, he looks all badass. And he just, he's all clean, and he just like, that's not Conan.
Yeah. No.
He just look, Yeah.
Doesn't
He looks
work.
like he works at the Gap.
Which you may have.
Yeah. But, so what's your favorite moment in the movie?
Favorite moment. I like the end with him and Thulsa Doom where Doom turns into I don't know what it is. Snake thing.
Yeah.
A massive snake that's like 100 feet long and super huge. I mean, that's a cool scene. There's a ton of... I like a lot of the scene...
The snake pit was mine. It's awesome.
Oh, with the giant snake,
All the scenes where he's like in that, like doing that gladiator style fighting, pit fighting, or whatever you want to call it. All that shit is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All the kills, all that. You're just like, oh, yes, come on, give it to me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I love the beginning. I love the middle. I love the end. I love all of it.
Yeah.
I just, it's perfect. Like
it really is. It's a perfect.
It's
movie.
hard to beat, man.
It's really like if somebody asked me what movies were like in 1982,
that's it.
I'd show them that. That and Blade Runner be the two movies I'd show them.
It was great.
Yeah.
Well, John Milius, great writer.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Johnson, Red Dawn.
Yep.
I mean, Those are movies.
Dirty Harry, first two Dirty Harry.
Yeah,
movies.
those are the movies that he wrote the movies we grew
So
up.
they have like the look.
Yeah.
That I'm familiar with and comfortable with.
Yeah.
The feel, the sound, all of it.
There's an interview with him where he's talking about him and Oliver Stone when the movie came out. He showed him the Time magazine review. He said it looks like if Star Wars was directed by a psychopath. And Milius looked and said, "See that? They compared it to Star Wars." Yeah. And he said he was like, "Hey, that's a compliment."
Yeah.
Because he kind of wanted it to be like Star Wars. It was directed by that's Milius. He's if you've never seen, there's on Prime, there's a documentary. It's just called Milius. It's about him, and it's great. It is one of the. He is a character in his movies. He is the person who should have directed Conan the Barbarian.
Yes,
because he's this big dude with a beard, and he loves guns and surfing and shotguns and motorcycles and prostitutes and all that stuff. Like literally in the documentary, they talk about the first movie he was paid to write, for a studio, was a movie where George Hamilton played Evel Knievel. And they really wanted to make this movie because this in the early 70s, Evel Knievel was huge, so they thought Evel Knievel would be great. And they said, "Oh, you should get that guy John Milius. He's written a couple of low budget things for like Roger Corman." And he was just like, and he said, Milius said he didn't want to do the movie. He said, "I only do it if you pay me." And I think it was guns, gold, and women. George Hamilton's like, when it was assistant, here's $20,000. Go get $10,000 in gold coins, $5,000 in guns, go get $5,000 worth of best prostitutes LA's got to offer. So send it to Milius' house. And then he got a call like a week later. "I have your script in a few weeks."
Nice doing business.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the type of dude he is.
Yeah.
He's
that's old Hollywood.
Old Hollywood.
See that sort of character.
Yeah.
Larger than life.
Right.
These guys are. It's done.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. He'll never make a movie again.
And movies like this, I worry
they're gone.
That we're going to lose because the characters behind them.
He was a filmmaker with balls.
Yeah.
He was.
And money.
And money.
And money. Back then, it wasn't hedge funds.
Yeah.
And corporations running how much money they were putting out on some sort of remake. Back then, it was rich Spaniards.
Yeah.
Or it was rich somebody going, "How much is this going to cost?"
Yeah.
You're going to put Schwarzenegger? Okay.
Okay.
Who do I make the check to?
Yeah.
Dino.
Who do I write the check to?
Yeah.
How do you spell Milius? Like, dude, people are like, or it's like, just go in the other room. I'll have a check for you. It's no problem. What kind of movie is it?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just do it. You know what I mean? That's gone.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. And with that.
But I'm kind of glad because he could not have a career now.
Oh,
Milius,
no.
he's so insane and just like the movie Apocalypse Now. When him and George Lucas were in film school, it was the late '60s, and all these hippies would have buttons that said "Peace Now," or Nirvana Now, and so he made one that had a little mushroom cloud on it that said "Apocalypse Now," and he would just walk around with it basically to get people to fight him. Because he was just like, "Fuck, I'm not into peace. I'm into fucking getting it on."
Yeah. And it shows in his movies.
It really does. It really does.
And that's what I'm talking about, losing that.
Yeah.
You have backing like that, then you can maybe go places that you normally wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And nowadays, everything has to be done in such a... You have to do this. You can't offend this person.
Yeah.
You have to
It's got to be homogenized.
And it's watering down...
Yeah.
Cinema and storytelling, and going back and watching something like this, and a couple of the movies that I watched, it brought me back, and I was like, God, man, this is gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, unless some major fucking changes happen, this style of I don't know what the word for it is. It's almost like cowboy cinema, maybe.
Not necessarily movies made by cowboys.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like Sam Peckinpah,
like crazy dudes just doing it, man. Who were really unique individuals, and that to me is gone.
Yeah.
So now it's like Stan Davis and business. It's all about the suits and appeasing this and making a money mark instead of doing the art.
Oh, and we're remaking Scream now. We're remaking movies in the 90s. I mean, it's
but see, back then there was so much
the
variety
Ghostbusters
of movies.
again.
Yeah.
Because the last remake was so bad, they
There
felt like, well, we
goes
let
Conan
everybody
again.
down, so let's try again.
Right, exactly.
Because everybody will come and see it anyway.
Because it's going to make money. Because it's going to make money.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah.
terrible.
But this, have you ever heard of Oliver Stone's first draft? Because he wanted to direct the movie originally, but he only done a couple low-budget horror things at this time, and he tried to.
The Hand.
He done The Hand. This was right after he done The Hand. This kind of in between Hand and Platoon. He wanted to do Conan, but do it post-apocalyptic, like there was a nuclear war, and it's cut to 10,000 years later. There's like hyena men, there's like praying mantis men, there's like fish men, and Conan's a human, but he like everything's rubble. Like his sword is made of like an old piece of steel from an I-beam.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it like like there's hordes of.
That would have been cool.
And
as
each
shit.
act
I'll cut
of the
a check
movie.
for that right now.
Yeah, each act of the movie would have been. I think it started with a quote from Dante's Inferno. Like it was like and even when they switched to Milius, they went to more of the Robert, more a faithful Robert E. Howard adaptation. He told Dino, he said, "This is your." He's like, because Dino, like when he did Dune and Flash Gordon, he wanted to make a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars franchise, and even Oliver Stone said, "Dude, this is it." He said, "Fucking sign Arnold to a 20-year contract, and you make one every other year, like a fucking James Bond movie, till people stop going to see him." And he's like, "They fucked me." He's like, "Next thing I know, after the first movie came out, I was not attached." Stone's like, "They didn't call me to."
Yeah.
He's like, he had it all planned out. He said this was his franchise, basically.
Well, he ended up okay.
Yeah, he did okay, but he like even when you talk to him now, he's like, "Damn, that was like he wanted to do it so bad."
That was his baby.
That was his baby, yeah. And talk about remaking a movie. Fuck, let's do Oliver Stone's
Version of
original version, which is fucking science fiction, 1,000 years in the future.
Let him do it.
Let him do it. Send him to fucking Spain with a bunch of money
Just let him
and
go.
a suitcase full of blow.
Arnon Milchan,
Yeah.
who funds most of Oliver Stone's movies, I'm sure he's still.
Arnold's got some of that money, some of that fucking Israeli spy money. Shit.
For sure.
You know he does. I mean, shit. I mean, I'd rather watch that than fucking, like you said, another Ghostbusters. And I love Ghostbusters, but shit, it's never gonna be 1984 Ghostbusters.
There's only one.
There's only one,
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you can never. That movie is
because you get all the same characters together and
Right.
you make a sequel and it's fucking horrific.
right. You may.
Then just
that movie is the epitome of lightning in a bottle.
yeah. God, everything about it's
The
perfect.
effects are perfect.
All the characters.
Yep.
The story, all of it is perfect.
But go back to Conan. Like fuck, I don't know this. Like you said, there'll never be movies like this again.
And that's depressing.
It really is, because this is my type of movie.
This was. You want to talk about 11-year-old Doug's happiest times? It's sitting around watching Conan and some of the Corman classics that we'll talk about. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons and I wanted to be in this.
Right.
I was telling Garrick, he's talking about playing D&D now, and I'm like, well, let me ask you, because this is how we did it back in the day. We'd spend 90% of the time not fighting dragons or monsters, but trying to get our characters laid.
Yeah.
Like, you go into a brothel and you roll the dice.
Bar, there's some women dancing.
Yeah, I mean, because I saw that in these movies, and that's what I wanted
Roll
my
to
characters to
seduce.
experience. Yeah. And it just brought me back, dude.
Yeah.
And it always does, and
Yeah.
it always will.
There's a interview on the DVD where this just shows you how smart James Earl Jones is. Like he understands this movie he understands this movie better than anybody.
It's awesome.
He said Conan's not a hero till the last 2 minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. He said what he's doing up to the movie, that's vengeance. He said when he cuts my head off, he said he's not a hero. He said he's a hero when he grabs the lamp and burns the temple down and all those people leave. He sets all those people free.
Yeah.
He said vengeance doesn't make a hero, doing something for other people does. And I was like, damn, James Earl Jones is a smart motherfucker. Plus, he just made this movie way deeper than I ever thought it was.
I never thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Well, you just ruined the end for anybody that hasn't seen it.
it's been 40 years. They'll be okay.
If you haven't seen it by now,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. They ruined the end. Yeah, okay. Spoiler alert, Conan doesn't die.
Yeah.
Although he does get crucified.
The bad guy does die. How many times does he get laid? 3 times? Or twice?
Three times if you count the woman when he's a gladiator.
Yes.
So 3 times with the witch and then with his love interest. That is the one thing. There's a flaw in this movie. Not that when she shows back up in the Valkyrie outfit. The outfit could have used another pass. Like it's like she looks like a solid gold dancer.
A little bit.
And it's 2 seconds in the movie.
Right.
But it's like, ugh. That's the one thing where I go, oh yeah, that's 1982. That's the flaw in the movie. But she's great.
Oh, she's fun.
She was a dancer, and you could tell she was like, you know, like to me, like an actress like that. That's what I think Wonder Woman should be like. Like she's not like muscular, but she's very
tough.
She's tough and she's very athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love.
Yeah.
Godot.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. She is quintessential.
But even his sidekick, that guy was a professional surfer. Like he wasn't an actor.
Right.
But they kept trying to find somebody. Like, oh, there's this famous surfer. We want him to be like that guy. They kept casting.
It's like, all right, man.
They were just like, fuck it, just get that guy. Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine, yeah.
No amount of bad acting could wreck this movie. And
no,
you know, it may not be like, oh, look, you know, it's fucking cinematic opera, as Garrick would say.
Yeah.
But it works. It's perfect.
It does. It really is.
Everything about this movie is absolutely
it's just right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Everything about it is just right.
The narrations.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
I just love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's perfect. I wish that they made more films like this.
Yeah. I wish they'd made more films like this in the series.
I hate the fact that, you know, after that second movie that had Wilt Chamberlain and Grace Jones in it, that it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think that it was a bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie.
It's fine, but in comparison...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's fine. That's the problem with it.
Yeah.
You got a great movie and a fine movie.
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen them do it just one more time.
Oh, yeah.
That one last
Conan
time.
the King.
Yeah.
That's what you know. Yeah. Because at the end of the first movie, that's how it ends. You know, him sitting on the throne, you know, and you're like, fuck, I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
And the Wachowskis tried to do it before they became women. They were going to do it with John Milius, and that couldn't get that off the ground. I think oddly enough, Oliver Stone's Alexander the Great movie lost a bunch of movie, and they were like, oh, okay, maybe people don't want to see stuff like that. But that's really different thing.
Yeah.
It's just that movie was so expensive.
And long.
And it had Jared Leto in it. And
one of your favorites.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
But and just, you know, like they talked, like there was going to be an Amazon show, and then they took that money and put it in the Lord of the Rings show. And the Conan show on Amazon was going to be, they were going to start with the first short story and go just adapt from there until it got canceled or finished. Like it was just going to be a straight Robert E. Howard adaptation.
And that would have been cool to see.
And maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, they thought people wanted to see. And also probably if it's a show of hands, there probably would be more hands for more hobbits than Conan.
Well,
but not my fucking hands.
Here's what I'll say about Lord of the Rings.
Right. It's boring.
It brought this kind of sword and sorcery genre back.
Right.
From a little bit of the dead.
Right.
But it was missing something.
Right. Entertainment.
Well, I was going to say rape and...
Yeah. They're just so...
And nudity.
Right.
Because there's none of that in the 12 hours that was Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones, however...
Right.
Yes! Titties!
All of it back. And that, to me, is why it became so popular. Yes, it was a cool story, but at the end of the day, it's swords, it's sorcery, it's rape, and it's fucking nudity. And that's what I want to see in this style of movie. That's what it is.
A Conan TV show. With the success, with Game of Thrones being the most popular show of the 21st century.
I don't know.
You know, as far as viewership, television-wise.
I don't know.
You know, I don't see how, like, you know, people like that. Because that's all Lord of the Rings. It's just, Game of Thrones is Lord of the Rings with Conan morality.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all it is. There's nothing, you know. We were like, there's not anything like, really? There have been many things like that.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
Yeah, just you weren't looking.
Especially literary things.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Written. Now, these things might not have been made into shows or movies.
Right.
But it's out there.
Oh, yeah. People just don't look for it.
Right.
It's like when you show something.
Than a Conan, just call him Maroc. and make it a Conan style
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Exactly.
Show.
Well, I think that some have they've
douchebag
tried.
at Amazon.
Right.
I watched the movies where they tried.
Right.
Um,
Well, and as we're going to go into here shortly, Conan's a very rip-offable movie.
oh,
It's very hard to rip off Star Wars
Yeah.
successfully
Without being-
without being. But shit, you look, you get some cheap dudes like Conan and go, oh, shit, I can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe not as well, but I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as I guess to close out our Conan review, I'm pretty sure we're all.
Oh, it's
It's
never
not,
seen
even,
it.
it's not even a rent it. It's a buy
It's a buy it.
buy the best Criterion Collection
Yeah,
style
that you can find.
Yeah.
special edition of it. Get all the extras. Get all the sleeves and the liner notes. Get everything you can on this movie. It's a classic.
Then go to eBay and buy the best replica of the Conan sword you can get and injure yourself and your friends with it.
If you can lift it.
If you can lift it.
If you can swing more than one time.
There's a really nice replica that's like $500 you can get online. It's like made in Spain by like a swordsmith. And I was like, shit, if I won the lottery. Oh, yeah. That bastard would be hanging above
That's going. It's going right beside the snakeskin jacket.
Oh, you know it is.
Right over the
And
fireplace.
guess what I'm going to be wearing when I play with it.
He's going to have his furry Speedo on.
Don't judge me.
I gotta see that. God, I might buy the sword just to get that picture of him and his freaking furry Speedos putting it up on the mantle. Best ever. It's a buy. And speaking of rip-offs of Barbarian movies,
Yes.
we'll go right into it. What'd you watch, Doug?
I watched a couple of Conan the Barbarian ripoff movies. Is exactly what I watched. I watched the first one that I watched was Sorceroress from 1982.
Directed by Jack Hill.
Jack Hill.
Yep.
He thought this movie was going to get him back into the mainstream. It proved to be his last feature movie. The story, these guys come to get these babies, or get this firstborn baby, this kind of warlocky dude.
Yeah.
And there's two of them. He didn't know there were going to be two.
Mira and Mara.
Mira and Mara, played by Lee and Lynette Harris. They were in Playboy. They were fucking blazing hot. And in that scene, a guy comes and uses a claw and destroys this woman's baby-making tool, which was disturbing in the first 10 minutes of it. And then a guy, this warrior named Kronos.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares? Comes and saves them and vows to instill his magic and his fighting ability into these two girls. And then 20 years later, they're all grown up, if you will. And
I will.
yeah. And this guy's coming to... this warlock is out to find them.
It's the plot of every sword story.
I fucking laughed my ass off watching this movie. It brought me back to being 11 years old, and I was just like, this is why I fell in love with movies.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's not good, but I loved it. And I've already reviewed this, so I'll spare everybody. But yeah, I loved it.
There's a fucking goat boy.
Yeah.
There's a fucking monkey boy. There are, there's
sex, there's titties.
It's just boobs galore.
It's very irresponsible filmmaking.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
In the best possible sense.
I mean, here's what really made it for me. There is a scene where one of the twins get separated, and one of them is getting balled by Erlich, the barbarian, and the other one is just writhing around on the ground and just
She can
having
feel it.
orgasms. Oh yeah, and
Telepathy.
And the
Got
other
in
guy, Baldar, that's with him is like, oh, I know that's Erlich, and then she comes once and then boom, she's coming again. He's like, oh, that's definitely Erlich. Just fucking fun, lighthearted, awesome.
As we were saying, somebody wrote this down and then went to somebody with money and said, can I make this? And they said, yes, you can.
Jim Wynorski was the writer.
Right, and I've heard he directed some of it.
He must
I've heard
have
Jack Hill actually quit about halfway through.
Well, he changed it. He hated it so badly, he changed his name to Brian Stewart.
Right.
So it was
So I've
obviously...
actually heard that Jim Wynorski actually directed.
Pando, the goat boy,
The goat boy.
who has no lines in this movie, but does do a couple of things. I read was actually written for Sid Haig, but Roger Corman would not dole out the doll hairs to bring him in.
Right.
So they had some random Mexican dude playing him, I suppose, because this movie was shot in Mexico.
Yeah, David Milburn.
It's got zombies. I mean, it's got everything that you can want.
It's a kitchen sink movie.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Irresponsible filmmaking.
Yeah. Like there's like somebody should have in a studio. This you just back then you just had to go to Roger Corman and be like, it had violence, it has sex, it has
Done. Where do I sign?
it has monsters.
Yeah.
And and as long as you fulfilled those things, you're pretty much free to do what you want.
Yeah.
And he would cut you a check.
Yeah.
You gotta have this.
This was
it's gotta be this many reels long.
Yep.
It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. Don't fuck
That's
it up.
when we should have been making movies. Guys.
Oh, I know, dude.
This was about a $400,000 budget movie,
Yeah.
and it ended up making about $4 million.
Right, exactly.
Dude.
And
Really?
90% of that went into Roger's pocket. I'm not guaranteed Jack Hill and Jim Wynorski saw very little of that.
Well,
Absolutely.
they probably got a buyout. They
Yeah.
probably made like we normally do. They make
A couple thousand, and that's
yeah,
it.
we'll
Yeah.
give you $15,000 to shoot this movie, and you've got 12 days to do it. So
And
you
you're
make
feeling
15
good about
dude,
that.
$15,000 for fucking 20 days of work?
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
But wait a minute, it made $4 million. Can I get like 5% of that, man? Nope. Sorry.
Roger's like, company's going out of business as he drives away in a Rolls Royce. You're like, what the fuck?
Just, which
The other movie I watched, which is really close to Sorceress, but not as good, I didn't think. DeathStalker.
Not as good.
Dad's poker.
From 1983.
Death Raper.
John Watson.
Yeah.
But I think that was the name of billed as the director, but it was actually an Argentinian guy because that's where this movie was shot.
James Schlarbadetti.
Schlurbadetti. Schlurba, sure. Corman shot 10 movies in Argentina. This was the very first one. It spawned 3 sequels. It had about a $400,000 budget, but this one grossed about $11 million.
$11 million.
It looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. I
It's
watched
horrible.
Prime. It
Yeah.
just it looks
Yeah.
terrible. It's a fucking quib fest.
Yeah.
Early on, it's like the guy looking directly into the camera and just saying the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
It's really not my day.
Yeah. This guy's got to retrieve a sword, an amulet, and a chalice to become all powerful.
Right.
Imagine that.
There's
And he's got to get laid a couple of times.
the guy
too.
looks like Jamie Lannister a little bit.
He does look a little bit like Jamie Lannister
From Game of
Dolph,
Thrones.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, he's got that like feathered
You know, he
blonde
looks
hair.
like. He looks like a blonde version of Will Ferrell.
A little bit. That's
It does.
good. It's got fucking mud wrestling. There's a monster in a box that you feed it fingers. It's got sex changes. It's got a fight cam, like a first-person fight cam that you see in some of those older kind of monster-y movies. A guy gets drawn and quartered and exploded. It just brought me back to simpler times, man. I watched this, and even though it's blurry, and I'm like, God damn, this is fucking terrible.
But it only had to play for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks, it was going to be replaced by another piece of shit.
Oh, it was like 87 minutes long.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like the runtime's perfect.
Yeah, even the camera work was terrible. So
all of it,
dark,
Jay.
the lighting, everything was.
It looks bad in some
Oh, yeah.
parts, and I was like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's-
But that being said,
Yeah.
like I said before, it spawned 3 sequels.
Yeah.
Because it made money.
$11 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, on less than $500,000.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
So here's my question:
Yeah.
if I was just filthy rich.
Would we make a movie like this?
Hold on a
Hell
second.
fucking yes,
yes.
we would.
So, but if I just had $400,000 laying around, say I upped it. Let's do $1 million. I want to do a sword and sorcery movie as a tribute to this. So I want it to be campy and shitty, but I also want it to have a little bit of something.
Well,
do
production
you
value.
think we would find a home for it?
Oh, well, fucking ain't right we would. Dude, some of the movies that are on Amazon Prime look like they were shot on a cell phone through a dirty plastic bag.
Yeah.
And they're, they got paid something by,
Yeah.
trust me, you could. And plus, there's Eastern European countries where the dollar goes far.
Yeah.
Like, you can, like, $100,000, that's $500,000 in Moldova.
Yeah.
just got to get everybody
You
there.
that's the thing.
The
You got to
logistics.
convince people to go there,
Yeah.
and then hire the crew when you're there who understand enough English, or someone there has to understand enough English.
Yeah.
And you can totally do it.
So you think you would find a fan base?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even
They're
if it's
like,
just
these guys.
3 of them are sitting right here.
They're like, dude, those guys made a film
Yeah.
about
Yes, I would
cities and
add that.
swords. And
Absolutely.
they even made it. It even felt like the '80s
Yeah.
movie.
Well, see, that's
Right.
what a lot of these.
Unfortunately, I don't have $1 million laying
A
around.
lot of the more modern takes on these style movies tried to rip off Lord of the Rings and be almost like that, where they have the same look and feel.
Yeah.
Just take the genre and do your own thing.
Right.
And I think maybe some better movies would have come out in the last 10 years than have, because, with Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, it's like that's kind of been the best of the best
Right.
in the last 20 years. And I think that there are better movies to be made
right.
in this same
There's
genre.
no modern Beastmaster.
Right. Or Conan or anything,
Or
even
anything like
close.
that, yeah. Where it's like, there's no Saturday afternoon movies.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot about Beastmaster.
Beastmaster's the shit, man.
Oh, don't. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is in my fucking wheelhouse. I love these fucking movies.
Oh, yeah.
This was what I looked for when I'm surfing the fucking movie channels or USA or fucking whatever it was back then.
Yeah.
Looking for movies to watch. It was monster movies and this.
Oh, yeah.
And if I could find some Swords and Sorcery, I was
It's the perfect movie for an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just adult enough, but it's not serious.
Yeah.
And I guess I mentally am still 11, so, anyway.
Yeah, it fits this group.
Yeah, it's this
Hey,
great.
it's what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always will.
Yeah.
So that's what I watched.
Well, you just cut 15 minutes out of the show because I watched DeathStalker too, and I just gave it.
You have any other thoughts on it?
No, I just put in all my thoughts. It was
It's Corman.
terrible,
It's
but
classic Corman.
But I was okay. Like I was okay with it just because I knew what I was.
I was
getting.
smiling the whole fucking time watching it, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous,
Yeah.
but I don't care. It's fine.
Exactly.
Stalker. I loved it.
Death Poker.
Yeah, or Death Poker, or whatever you want to call it. That's fine.
I took the kids to the Golden Ticket Cinema to see, since I have 4 girls and a wife who all love the Disney stuff, we went and saw Maleficent. It was visually stunning. It was actually not bad. I don't have any problems with it. Michelle Pfeiffer was great as the the bad queen. Still beautiful. All the sets were green screen. I mean, it's complete opposite of DeathStalker.
Yeah.
It was shot in a studio on green screen.
Yeah.
There is like birds flying around the princess at all times. There's just some, crazy visuals where I'm just like, dude, that looks so good. And then there's
Does it? But does it?
No,
That's
but it looks.
I understand what you mean.
It's professional.
Yes. To my standards, I could give a shit less. But to my kids are like, there's some people are out there going, that movie was freaking like that was the coolest stuff. You got the story. The basis of the story is the queen. What's her name's getting married, and she meets the queen, and the queen has ulterior motives for Maleficent. Banishes her. Well, Maleficent finds other Maleficents, and then they come to wreck some house at the kingdom. So you got all these people flying, but it just looked good.
I can't not watch it fast enough.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, watching, and not so much in DeathStalker because the sets look like fucking trash. in that, but in Sorceress, I kept looking at the sets and I'm like, considering the money, and I'm like, man, this looks pretty fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that these movies you can make them cheaply and do it right. I think
you just got to find that. You got to find New Zealand.
You just got to find
that place. Yeah.
Find a place and
go
a
up the
look.
Appalachian Mountains and find that spot to do 75% of the movie.
I think it can be done. It
Right.
can be done. We're just going to sit back and see if it is done.
Right.
And because of the lack of balls in fucking Hollywood at this point, I don't know if anybody's even going to try.
No.
Yep. And if it's not done, And if it's not going to be done, it'll be done the Maleficent way, which is all green screen.
Well, it's going to be done. It's going to be done.
Honestly,
The Lord of the Rings fucking TV show that's on. It's going to be the same. It's going to look like that. It's going to look great. It's going to be fucking
I would not
25,
be surprised.
$50 million, $100 million price tag. It's just, I don't care. Man.
Yeah.
It's got no soul. It's got no heart.
Right.
Both of these movies had heart.
That's
And that's what I came away with
And
both of them.
And those people were on a budget and on time and broke their balls,
Right.
I'm sure, for the
In
2015
foreign countries, I mean, they're doing
days
it in Mexico. This guy, Hill was like, dude, production was so fucking hard. But he's like, I'll tell you this. These guys worked their asses off. You know, same with the crew down in Argentina. You know, they worked their asses off to make this thing.
Yeah.
And it shows.
I've worked on shit that is unwatchable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And broke my fucking ass to do it.
God,
Yeah.
Badass killers, dude. What? 2 weeks in a freaking
In a
boiling...
100-degree basement.
Yeah.
Garrick's eyes, he was sweating. He was looking through the camera eyepiece. He was sweating so much, his eyes swelled up.
Yeah. It was...
He looked like Rocky at the end of Rocky 2.
It's a good look for him.
And I was,
I mean,
it was fun though.
Yeah,
but like you said, it was fucking fun.
And I'm sure that these guys looking back, you know, we're
We'll
just
never
like,
forget that.
We're just like, oh man, remember how much fun we had during that scene and this scene? How much fun do you think they're having on those green screen scenes?
No.
Fuck that. Has no soul, has no heart.
Yeah.
It's just not, you know.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Give me a dude in a rubber mask and a bodybuilder with a sword any day of the week.
That's it. Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I watched.
Well, I watched some things.
What have you got
Well,
there, Lee?
Speaking of green screen.
speaking of, well, not as much as you would think.
Okay.
I watched, to keep it on Arnold, I watched Terminator Dark Fate. And it's the best Terminator movie since Terminator 2. I'll tell you that. There are moments in it.
Man, that is an empty statement.
That's true. It
I'm
absolutely
just saying.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying compared to the other ones, there is a truck chase scene in Mexico at the beginning that it's a truck with a big cow catcher snowplow just plowing through traffic, and they're in a pickup truck that's got a hole in the radiator, and it felt for like 5 minutes. That's what it felt like, an old school action movie.
Yeah.
And there are parts in it I don't like, but there's a lot of parts in it I do like. Arnold and Linda Hamilton are great. They are the best things in the movie.
That's bad.
And the new... the guy Diego Luna who plays the new Terminator, the Rev 9, who is basically a T-800 with T-1000 skin. He can split into two. Like the liquid one can turn into a guy and go off like a drone.
Right.
And the metal skeleton can stay murdering people. So he is like Arnold in the first one, does nothing to very little very well.
Yeah, okay.
But like Arnold does get enough. For the first Terminator, he emotes zero. Like none.
That's what makes it.
And that's a really good performance.
Yeah.
In the first, because it's hard to do nothing. And it's more like the performance in Terminator 2. Like he falls out of a plane and there's a guy barbecuing and he just crashes through his tool shed and he just stands up and kind of just walks. Sorry about the shed, and just walks past him. Like he is great. The female Kyle Reese and the girl who's the new savior. Yeah,
I don't know what...
I didn't love that part.
Well, I see these people in it,
Right.
and I'm like, well, now, who is that?
But everything else besides them was actually very well done. Directed by Tim Miller, guy who did the first Deadpool. Will I buy it? Probably not. I'd watch it again, though. Like, if a couple years go by and it's on Prime or Netflix, I'd give it a dang quarter again.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's... Compared to one... It is not compared to 1 and 2. 1 is like a horror movie. It's like a slasher movie with a robot.
It's perfect.
And 2 is one of the best action movies ever.
I know you love it.
And,
it's not so high up on my...
I understand, but it's like compared to action movies now, it's
I know.
and the fact that Arnold doesn't kill anyone in part 2.
Yeah.
It's
Shoot him in the knees.
Shoot him in the knees, yeah. And it's a technical marvel. And there's a little bit of CGI, but everything else.
What's the deal with Arnold in this? Because he looks like he's
you want me to tell
72
you?
because he is 72.
I can tell you if you want me to.
Well, I don't think it's spoiling anything.
Okay, if you've not
We've
seen,
got 6 listeners.
if you've never seen Terminator Dark Fate, skip ahead 90 seconds. He's a T-800 that was sent back during the first two movies. And when they're in Mexico after part 2, he walks up and shoots John Connor in the face with a shotgun. So basically, and then he knocks out Sarah Connor. And basically, there's no time travel back. So he's just been there.
Ages.
He ages because they say that in the first one, like it can adapt. It's an infiltration unit.
Right. So he's just been around.
And through that time, through dealing with people, he has grown. Like he's
more human.
He's more human.
He's a robot.
And he has realized that since his programming is essentially done, he's not receiving orders from Skynet anymore. Once John Connor's hops started beating, it was over. He just walks away. And basically, he's been because the second one takes place in '95, so this is '98 when he kills John Connor. And so since then, he's been 21 years just been
hanging
around, and he's married and he runs a drapery business. And that's the funniest part of the movie is him, like in a gunfight, him talking about drapes. Yeah. He's like, it's got to go with the room. It's got the style.
I mean, I love fucking Arnold. Don't get me wrong.
Great.
But I just, like we were talking about with the Star Wars stuff and bringing the original guys back. Mm-hmm. I just like go forward or just stop.
He is, but and the fight between the T-800 and the Rev 9 at the end is really cool.
Cool.
Yeah. It's I guess it's Hoover Dam. They never say, but it's
big ass dam.
Big ass dam. Mm-hmm. And there's some CGI that just does not look good.
Really?
Like they're flying around in a plane where it loses its gravity and they're like, it's crashing. And there's a CGI Lyndall Hamilton that passes by, and I was just like, ugh.
Well, it's not doing that well,
right?
So that's
but they had the money on gunfights and stuff. I mean, they know where the bread was buttered,
right?
My girlfriend, I liked it. My girlfriend loved it, so she enjoyed it. She said
more than you did.
Much more than I did. But I still liked it. I would not give it a bad review.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, it's the fucking worst thing, dude. It's not. Yeah, no, it's. I didn't even see Terminator Genesis.
The last one I saw was the one with
chick from Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Rings.
No, I did. Game of Thrones. I didn't watch that one. The one I saw was the Christian. The last one I saw was the Christian Bale, and I enjoyed that one.
I enjoyed it, but that one was more just fan fiction.
Yeah, it was bullshit. It didn't connect anything. I was just like,
yeah. Like they used the Guns N' Roses song from the second one in the fourth one with Christian Bale. And that was just like, oh, look at that. It was just shit like that.
Yeah.
It was just fan service, the movie.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it doesn't progress anything.
No, but I enjoyed it.
I think they tried to do a lot of things and didn't necessarily work. But they were trying. And like I said, it's not terrible.
Okay.
Other than that, I watched, on Halloween night the other week, Garrick had mentioned he watched Maniac Cop 2. And I saw it on Prime, and I watched it, and it's still fucking fabulous.
Yeah. Loved it.
But then a couple days after that, I was scrolling through Amazon Prime like I do, and I noticed the 1979 shot in Shelby, North Carolina, Earl Owensby produced Wolfman movie was on there. And I know Earl. I used to go to church. There was a church in his studios. That was the church I went to. Started when I was about 13 years old. Okay. So I spent a lot of time in his studios. We're not studios then; they were just empty buildings.
Right.
But if you ever wonder what the Benicio del Toro Wolfman would be like if it was shot in Cleveland County, the movie takes place in Scotland, but it has 100% Western North Carolina accents. This is the movie. And if you thought things like DeathStalker were bad, the acting is so stiff. It's literally like you can see people being cued to act. Yeah. Hello, Father. How are you? It's just like, but you can tell that Earl loves old monster movies. Yeah. And he is the Wolfman, and it is a movie that exists in the world.
It happened.
Yeah. And they were,
Get out.
And I think there are two of his movies on Prime. He did sort of an Elvis ripoff movie called Living Legend. I think that one is also available. Those are the only two of his movies I think you can watch.
Wow.
Unless you buy them from him on VHS. If you happen to see him in
Does he still live there?
As far as I know, he does. I know he's trying to sell the studio, but I haven't seen him in 15 years. So I really have no idea. Probably maybe longer than that.
We need to get up some bank and get that studio from him.
There you go.
Making some fucking Western North Carolina Conan shit.
Titties and swords.
Stop fucking around. Get on this.
If you want to see, we're talking about filmmakers just making a movie.
Yeah.
Earl Owensby had money, and he he made fucking movies.
Good for
Now,
him.
whether or not they were good, they were not that good. But he did it.
Yeah.
He,
Good. Fuck. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Anybody that.
Yep. He had a dream and he did it.
It's very Ed Wood.
Yes.
Which, I will always applaud people like
Right.
that.
And also, I rewatched Dolemite Is My Name the second time. That could end up being my favorite movie of the year. It's so fucking feel good.
You just
It makes you feel so fucking good. Like, it's like, what people talk about is feel good movies, like some sappy shit. It's not that.
This podcast has ruined my whole mood. It's kind of like fantasy football because we're into sword and sorcery. So I've got my brain set like you. I'm set on I've got to watch sword and sorcery. And I don't have time to sit around and watch a bunch of movies. So my name is Dolemite. Oh, dude, I really want to see that. However, we're in sword and sorcery.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, sometimes I maybe have a couple too many on a Saturday night, and I was sitting around Saturday night, it was like 9:30, and I was like, man, I want to watch something, and I don't know why I thought about the Dolemite movie, and I was like, man, that sounds really cool, and then I started looking at my DVDs, and I was like, I'm in the mood for some Nicholson, which is a Beastwick.
Oh, yeah.
So I watched that because I fucking love Nicholson in that movie so much. And, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And by the time it ended, I was like, it's too late to fuck with Dolemite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to try and get it watched this week.
Right.
For sure. I want to see it so fucking bad.
I'll try to too, so we can.
I want to see it so fucking bad.
I love it. Yeah. Like I said, it couldn't be my favorite movie.
Well, everything that you said about it last time made me want to see it even more. And the fact that you've already gone back and rewatched it, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Cool. And I hope Craig Brewer, the director, I hope it really catapults his career. Because he's a really good director,
Good.
And, he's doing Come to America too. So hopefully that'll do. But yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all I watched.
Nice.
Earl Owensby.
Yep.
I'm going to look that up. I need to watch that. See, there you go. So now I'm going to watch that, and I'm not, and then I'm going to watch.
You won't make it through the Wolfman.
15 minutes.
You won't make it. Through
Just give it 15.
Give it 15 minutes. If you make it, huh?
Did you watch it all?
I've seen it when I was a kid. I just kind of skipped around.
So no. Hell fucking no.
Yeah.
What do we?
It looks like remember the old show Dark Shadows? Mm-hmm. If there was a Dark Shadows made in Mexico, that's what it looks like.
That's not good.
Yeah, exactly. But it was made in my hometown.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Soldier's Battle was made in our hometown.
it was.
Yeah.
I was a part of one of the cuts, I think.
2 empty chairs.
2 empty chairs. I was in that one too. Oh, really good.
Those are not on Amazon, however.
They are not.
I'm not sure where those are.
I can't find them.
They're as lost as the XBA footage.
Damn. I'm telling you, there was something there. There was a moneymaker there. We fucked that one all up.
Yeah, we probably did. That was a lot, dude. I was too young. Had we done that now, I'd have been able to, you know what I mean? I would have been able to manage it all and figured out what we needed to do.
Because everything about it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Other than production value.
Oh, yeah. Me and my friends once spent a year making a parody of Apocalypse Now. And at the end, we had 50 minutes of bullshit.
Yeah.
It was called Apocalypse Meow. It had to do with cats.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't have told me that.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that footage?
My buddy James in a Cat in the Hat outfit running around.
Oh. And there's no VHS.
There's none. There's not.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What about Hometown?
That's on the internet. I can't show that to people.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
I found my DVD copy. I was looking at my Garrick
That
Lane
wasn't
collection.
really a movie, though. That was
I had
compiled
jobbers.
footage.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a nice library.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Jobbers being the best.
Jobbers is the best.
Hey, I just won a best cinematography.
Yes, you
Another
did.
trophy for Ella for the Western.
Nice.
Let's go out and make us some Tinian swords. I'll shoot it.
I'm just saying.
You write it. You fund it.
There we go.
I'm just saying.
How am I going to fund it? I barely fund the gas to get here. I fund it. Yeah, I'll write you a check.
Do people still do that?
I guess. I don't know.
We need to-
It ain't go cash. So.
We need to put my Schwarzenegger 18-foot anaconda to work. Kind of like that. What is that show? Hung? Yeah. I'll go and prostitute. I'm going to prostitute myself till I can get us $500,000.
Yeah, you do that.
To make,
we'll make it when we're 90.
Get to work.
Death meter. Hey, what? You know what? What if we did that?
Meter?
So what if? All right. So I've got a business plan.
Does Mark Rose have to be involved?
No, not meter.
Oh, okay.
No, but we'll raise.
Just kidding, Mark.
We'll raise $100,000. We'll make Death Porker, which will be a local porn movie. We'll put that up on the internet. We'll stream that. We'll make that the money.
Because people pay for pornography. That's how the world works. What year do you think this is?
It's 1982 to me, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Death Porker, I'm telling you. We do 5 scenes. We do an adult movie. From the money we make from that, we make Death Stalker. Yeah, Death Stalker. It's a plan.
It's a something.
Everybody visit our Patreon page while you're still excited and send money.
Yeah. Everybody, by the way, the audience bailed out about 10 porkers ago.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going to introduce something new before we do the news. I'm going to introduce something new. Where Lee has pick-a-flicks and he does movies that are awesome. I am going to do the opera of cinema film that you need to see.
I'm going to go take a shit now.
This week's opera of cinema comes from none other than Paul Thomas Anderson. And we've talked about this before, but it's There Will Be Blood. It's a film that has everything. Every frame is a canvas. Every performance is perfect.
Now, see, I can't make fun of that because that's a good movie.
Okay,
One of
well,
my favorites.
I'm sure there'll be some that you'll make
there we
fun
go.
of. But this one, Paul Thomas Anderson, There Will Be Blood from 2007 with Daniel Day-Lewis in it. It's my first opera of cinema that you must see. And Michael Myers, as far as my showdown is concerned, Michael Myers killed Leatherface. And Jason just squeaked by Freddy. So,
Really?
So coming up, we'll have the championship of slashers, Michael Myers versus Jason.
Okay.
So, and there's some crazy news going on. James Dean is going to be in a...
He's going to be... James Dean, he died 65 years ago, and he's apparently still working.
He's going to be the second lead.
He's going to be the second lead in a movie, a Vietnam movie about going to get a dog.
About dogs.
About dogs.
Like sniffing dogs.
Yeah, the war's over, I guess, and they have to go find this dog. Basically, his family has sold his image rights, his likeness, yes, thank you, to these 2 film producers, and they're going to create a complete CGI James Dean and put him in a Vietnam movie about finding a dog.
How is that humanly possible? That is just scary to me.
It sounds like the worst thing fucking ever.
It does, and should,
And if it works, then we're going to go back to talking about on top of those.
It is working.
I know what I'm saying.
To me, it's no different than like de-aging De Niro.
I think it is. I think it's somewhat different because De Niro still gave the performance.
True.
James Dean's been dead before there was color. He died before color television.
This is
All right.
What did I read? This is going to be his 4th movie.
His 4th movie, yes. He only made 3 movies and then died in a terrible car
At
accident.
108 years old, or
And
whatever.
And, I think it's a terrible idea.
If this works, though, it will change everything.
It's not going to work. This is not going to be a hit movie.
it can't be.
It'll be like, remember The Artist?
Yes.
It won Best Picture. Mm-hmm. Has anybody watched The Artist since the day after those Oscars aired?
I still haven't seen it.
Right. It's a silent movie. It did not bring about more silent movies because nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Not that people don't care about silent movies, but people don't care about watching new silent movies. Mm-hmm. People watch Buster Keaton movies because they love Buster Keaton.
And Charlie Chaplin.
And Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, I got you.
Or whoever. Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking... These 2 guys have somehow conned probably James Dean's aunt or whatever, or niece or whatever.
Their family,
whoever is still alive. Because he didn't have any kids. His most closest living relative, I'd imagine. Into giving him his likeness rights. And he's going to make this movie. And it's fucking just garbage.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like a bit role and like a cool thing,
like that took place in like the 50s.
Yeah, that had something.
Once upon a time in Hollywood, James Dean
some
shows
relevance,
up and they
right?
made some
But you're
quick
gonna make a
scene.
fucking movie
Where
about
he's playing a character
about some Vietnam something about fucking bomb dogs. And the bond that these fucking soldiers have with
So
these
it's going to be a
animals?
CGI dog bonding with a CGI James Dean.
Just shoot me in the fucking eyeball,
Yeah.
dude. I'm never gonna.
Let's get John Milius good and coked up and give him a gun because you know he's got thousands and send him to these guys' house and just see what happens.
Let's just see what happens when he knocks.
Oh yeah,
on the door.
post-stroke John Milius just coming in with a Tommy gun. That's a fucking movie.
That sounds more appealing than this fucking garbage. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I was actually riding to the show, and I stumbled upon online this interview with Crispin Glover, and I always knew he wasn't in Back to the Future 2, but I didn't really know the story. And what it was is he basically didn't really like the storyline, didn't really like what happened to George in Part 2. And he thought he was a big enough part of the first one that he should have some say. And part of the reason why the first one worked, which I would agree that he is. He's a pretty big component of Part 1. Absolutely.
But what they did was they got an actor who looked kind of like him and took one of the special effects molds when they did the old man makeup at the end of Part 1 and made a Crispin Glover mask and put it on this guy. And if you watch 2, he's always like behind Leah Thompson.
I knew there was something weird about that.
Right, and it's a guy doing a Crispin Glover impression. And he sued them and won. And now it's called the Crispin Glover rule that you can recast it. Like if you're James Bond, they can recast and put somebody else as James Bond, but they can't try to fool the audience into thinking it's still you.
Good.
And this is basically, they've circumvented that by the guy being dead, is all this James Dean shit is. You know, it's the same thing, but more complicated. And this interview with Chris McGovern, it was great. He's still pissed. He's still like, fuck that. He's like that. You know, people thought people thought, man, you kind of sucked in Back to the Future too. He's like, that wasn't even me. I wasn't even there. He's like, I wasn't even there. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
And basically he pins it on Bob Gale, Robert Zemeckis' old producer. He's like, man, Zemeckis, he's like, he did the Beowulf movie where he played Grundle, you know. He's like, man, Zemeckis are cool. He's like, that motherfucker Bob Gale.
Tried to fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. Can eat shit in hell is basically what he...
Good.
And, so basically this James, that's all it is. It's just a new version of that. You know. And it's terrible.
What if it wins a bunch of Oscars? What if it changes the world?
It won't.
It can't.
I'm just saying.
Well, actually, you know what? The way that we're trending is... You know what? Maybe this will just be the new thing.
Fuck, it could be.
Everybody will just stop acting, and we'll just use old actors that are all dead in all the new movies.
Want to remake that? Want to remake that?
Pay anybody. We just pay some guys, some geeks behind a computer to do it all.
Well, that's...
Want to make a new Death Wish? Why not have Charles Bronson in it?
Yeah. I mean, dude, Oh, you want to redo Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid? We'll just redo We'll get Robert De Niro, Robert Redford to sign off. We'll bring Paul Newman out from the dead, and we'll do it again. Like, dude, fuck.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope.
It's an odd thing, man.
Yeah.
When I read that article, I thought, man, this just doesn't seem right.
No.
Fucking ruined.
Yeah.
It's not 1983.
Oh God, if it
DeathStalker.
was.
We gotta bring it back somehow. Somebody needs to win the lottery, dude.
Yeah, we need to bring it
so we
back.
can infuse this world with something.
The real shit.
Yeah.
The real thing. Dude, like, instead of listening to my son watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and go, that's fake.
It's all fake. I don't get that.
It's a fucking movie. Smack. Yeah.
You got us a video while we're all depressed?
I do. And it's going to get weird. You're going to think I've flipped my lid. It's not a genre movie.
Is it a CGI?
If it's the fucking Notebook,
it's not the Notebook.
Okay.
It is a drama. And I will... Brace yourselves. It has Renee Zellweger in it.
Oh.
All right. It's a movie called The Whole Wide World about Robert E. Howard, the guy who created Conan.
Okay.
He's played by Vincent D'Onofrio. And you kind of get the sense that he was... I would assume he was schizophrenic or something like that. Because he died very young. Like, his mother died. To spoiler, his mother died and he went out in his car and blew his brains out. Like, there was something wrong there.
Yeah.
Like, he wrote all this stuff like 2 years. All the Conan stuff, the Cull of the Conqueror stuff, all his stuff. Like maybe like 2 years. He was very young when he died. Like, had been a boxer, worked on oil derricks and stuff. I don't even know if he graduated high school. You know, and but just this kid from Austin, Texas, who could just write in like Old English, like sort of epic poem style somehow, and do it better than. I used to have a collection of his short stories that had an obituary that Lovecraft wrote after he died. I think they published it in Weird Tales. But Lovecraft's like, he's the greatest pulp writer that ever lived. Like, he's like, you know, and it's like the movie's okay, but D'Onofrio is great. Like, the thing they nailed was like he would act out, like when he's like writing the Conan story, he's like banging on his typewriter, but he's like saying it, like he's not just like typing. He's like doing the character voices and stuff. And you get like the kind of guy he was who would create something like this. Right. And, you know, but early 20th century, you know, like Cowboys and Indians wasn't that far. You know, he lived in that sort of world.
Yeah, okay.
And the D'Onofrio is great. The movie itself is pretty good, but he's great in it.
How is Renee?
She's okay. She's she's like the audience. She meets him and they sort of fall in love, but then she realizes that he's just
fucked up.
He's fucked. She can't save him.
Yeah.
He was, you know, sort of in the movie kind of proposed he's sort of in love with his mother, which I would probably agree with. He had like they probably had some not necessarily a sexual relationship. They had an unhealthy emotional relationship,
or at least in his view.
Yes, in his view.
Yeah, I got you.
And it ends with her basically suicide.
I got you. Okay.
And but
where'd you find this little jewel?
I saw it, dude. I saw it on cable like 18 years ago. Just like one of those nights, like back when like HBO didn't just show they showed movies.
Right.
And I'll turn like 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, turn on, and there's a movie about the guy who created Conan on it.
And you were like,
and I was like, oh, damn, I didn't know this existed. Yeah, it was made in '96, so you know, right before Jerry Maguire. You know.
That sounds interesting.
It is interesting. That's one of the best things you say, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
This sort of like everything we've talked about, it came out of, you know,
crazy
one guy's head.
Yeah.
It's streaming on Prime.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the whole wide world. And that's what it is, because every time they introduce him, they're like, this is Bob Howard. He's the greatest pulp writer in the whole world. You know, that's how like people in his town refer to him. You know. And he was kind of like, you know, like everybody in town sort of hated him because he was just this big drunk giant guy from Texas who would fight at the drop of a hat. You know?
I like him already.
So in his mind, he was Conan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Pretty cool. Okay, man. 1 week Sword and Sorcerer's down. I guess next week we will do Crawl.
Yep. But yeah, we're doing a movie basically that tried to cash in on the success of Conan the Barbarian.
It's another hanger-oner.
Yep.
If you will.
But a high budget one.
Very high.
This one there was some money in this one.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that next week. Yeah. Very cool looking movie.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Excalibur meets Star Wars.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
We will get in on that.
Yeah.
Anything else, fellas?
I'm good.
All right. That was a good one, man.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I will see you guys next week. Tales from the Video Store, a Mad Tea Party production. Subscribe to our podcast at Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spreaker, and all the other podcast platforms. Facebook.com/Tales from the Video Store.